This is a great approach for solving complex problems and an amazing critical thinking tool, which was additionally popularized by Elon Musk in his YouTube talks, although we can trace the application back to Aristotle. It is focused on exploring the fundamental truths or core elements of some issue that you cannot further break down. Simply, it's about decomposing or challenging the existing knowledge structure in order to find the essence, and distinct it from any possible assumptions or variable elements. Description. To better understand the first principles thinking, we should compare it to so-called standard, conventional thinking. For example, when we face a novel situation, we are always searching for our past experiences, case studies, how others deal with the same issue and similar. Basically, relying on analogy, looking for similarities, or well-known best practices. We are looking at how to adjust our existing knowledge base to this novel situation, basically looking for quick wins. On the other hand, the first principles thinking involves deconstructing a problem or idea to its fundamental components, its most basic truths, and then reconstructing solutions from scratch. Simply said, forget analogies, what other people do, how you did something in the past, and similar, since this is a new situation. Let's find out what's the best possible solution for this specific case by exploring the fundamental truths. That way, we open the doors for new possibilities and explore new developmental paths. For example, let's go back to Elon Musk. He explored the ways of going to space by hiring different space agencies or buying rockets, and that was a very expensive solution. So he started thinking, what we actually need to take us to the space. Essentially, all space shuttles are built of some sort of metals and other resistant materials. You've got some electronics, some fuels, and brains to put the pieces together. Those are the fundamental truths for this specific issue. If you look at their individual prices of those inputs, it's far cheaper compared to the prices he was offered for the rocket. So he created the SpaceX company based on those premises, or the first thinking principles. When to use first principles thinking is particularly useful in situations where conventional solutions have proven ineffective or where innovation is essential. It's a valuable tool for entrepreneurs, scientists, engineers, and anyone seeking to challenge the status quo and find novel solutions to complex problems. How it works in practice. To apply the first principles thinking, one must follow a systematic approach. Identify and define the problem or idea in its simplest form. Break down the problem into its fundamental principles, or the building blocks. Question and challenge each principle and/or assumptions, seeking to understand why it is true. Generate new solutions based on these fundamental truths, free from preconceived notions or limitations. Let's illustrate this. Imagine a company facing rising production costs for its flagship product. Instead of accepting the status quo, a business leader applies the first principles thinking. Identify the problem. Rising production costs are impacting profitability. Break down the problem. What are the fundamental components of production costs? Challenge assumptions. Why and how does each component contribute to costs? Generate solutions. Explore alternative production methods or materials based on fundamental cost-saving principles. If you don't like this simple example, you can explore more about Henry Ford and how he established mass production in the automobile industry over a century ago. Before him, only expert engineers worked on car production, causing slow production processes and low volumes, while every single car was a pretty much unique product. Ford studied the production processes, how to standardize items, or the automobile parts, and trained pretty much random workers to serve an assembly line as a main production vehicle. The rest is history. For sure, the first principles thinking has some very strong good and weak sides. For example, it encourages innovation and creativity, helps break free from conventional thinking, and enables deeper understanding of problems and solutions. On the other hand, it requires time and effort to apply it effectively. It can be challenging to implement in certain contexts, and may not always lead to practical or feasible solutions. At the essence, we can say, the first principles thinking is not a one-size-fits-all solution, but rather a mindset, a way of approaching problems with curiosity and skepticism. It can be enhanced by applying it together with some other well-developed techniques as well, like the Kipling method of asking question 5 whys, issue tree or fishbone diagram, biomimicry, or exploring how things function in nature, by applying deductive trimming, meaning testing what's going to happen if you remove some element, and similar.